highlights channel of the Ranveer Show. This is TRS Clips. If we can do a bit of an exercise where you and me time travel back to 1947, okay? The partition's happening. Many Muslims from India are going to Pakistan. Many Hindus, Sikhs, Christians from Pakistan are probably moving to India. Why did the modern day Indian Muslim, why did that person's ancestors or grandparents not choose to go to Pakistan? And then I have a vice versa version of that question as well. The Hindus, Sikhs, Christians that are in Pakistan today, why did their grandparents or great-grandparents not take that call and go to India? That's one part of the question. I'll get to the second part later.
So, many more Muslims stayed back in India, from all over India, than those who actually went. The people who went with the hope and expectation that, country created in the name of Islam and the kind of propaganda that the Muslim League had said, Pakistan ka matlab kya, as I mentioned, la ilaha illallah, that it's a... So that they felt they were looking for the new Medina, as it were. So that's why a lot of people went. Those who stayed back, I think probably couldn't go, maybe. Or they felt that, we can do perhaps as well, if not better, in a secular milieu. As I mentioned, the sects, different sects. Islam was, the Indian Muslims were not just a unified, just on the basis of Islam. They were divided into different sects and they probably felt that they could do as well over here. In fact, Jinnah was asked this question when he was deplaning from Karachi. From Delhi, he was going to Karachi. So he was asked that, what message do you give for the Indian Muslims who are stayed behind? He said, I expect them to be good citizens of India and I expect that the Congress government to look after them. Now, the follow-up question was, if a Hindu Congress government can look after the Muslim, then why did you create Pakistan? His reply is not known. We don't know what he said. But this is a fundamental question. That if you now say that the Hindu Congress government will look after the Muslims, ज़रूरत क्या थी फिर पाकिस्तान बनाने के लिए?
Can you draw out a picture of the modern day non-Muslim in Pakistan?
Pathetic. Very pathetic conditions.
Okay, because there's lots of narratives going around online. It's a lot of comment section banter that talks about this. See, I'll tell you what's happening with people my age. Most urban people that I meet, okay, very rarely are they out and out pro-Modi, at least the ones I meet. Maybe because I'm in media. My world in media is primarily anti-Modi. I don't know why that is. Now, there can be 1,000 reasons. And their narrative for being anti-Modi is that, look how our Christians, Muslims and Sikhs are being treated.
In India.
In India. And I'm reeling narrative. This is not what I believe. Okay? Because I get to talk to people like yourself. So I believe I get a more of a 360-degree perspective. You'll always find one person in that same room countering these people who are anti-Modi by saying that, hey, do you know how non-Muslims in Pakistan are treated? Like, if you think we are targeting non-Hindus here, go to the other side of the border. I would love for you to shed some light on both these arguments.
See, on the Indian side, there was a recent Pew service, you may have seen it, Pew survey. 96% of the Muslims were asked, were happy that there were no restrictions on their observance of their religion. 96%. 4% said moderately. 96% of the Muslims were satisfied. 90% of the same Muslims were said they were proud to be Indians. Right? So this propaganda is basically that. It's propaganda. It comes from the US. So somebody said, what is the situation in the US? 60% of African Americans said they had hindrance in pursuing their religions in the United States. So what is it we're talking about? How can you compare? When 96% of the Muslims say they're happy, tum kaun bolne wale ho ki nahi ho raha happy?
I also feel that...
And one more, if I let me...
Sure, sir.
Jammu and Kashmir, there was violence for so many decades. Since 89, there was violence going on. Not one Muslim for other parts of India actually went there said it is jihad. No Indian Muslim from other parts of India went to say it was jihad, whereas Pakistan was shouting from the rooftops, jihad in Kashmir mein, ye Kashmir mein. Why? They're fully satisfied, they're integrated into the country.
Coming back to this question about the modern day non-Muslim in Pakistan. Did their grandparents and great-grandparents choose to not move to India because they couldn't afford it? I'm sure that's one of the reasons, because I believe that there's a massive tribal Hindu population. I'm using the word massive loosely here. But
Soda Rajputs are there on the border between Rajasthan and... You see, again, when partition took place, a lot of people didn't know what it meant. I'll give you a personal example. In the case of my wife's grandparents, when this troubles and all started, so one of their relatives sent them a truck कि भी आप आ जाओ, सारा सामान लेके आप आ जाओ. They said, क्या बात है? We'll be back. So they just took the cow that they had, put that in that thing, and one carpet को, pani aa jayega. So that's all they came up with. Everything else was left as is. They didn't think they will be back. Jinnah, who had a house in Mumbai and a house in Delhi, he told the first Indian High Commissioner, Sri Prakash, that tell Nehru that I want to go back to Bombay. After having created Pakistan, because he said, I want to go and live in Bombay. It's a lovely house. I want to go and live there. So a lot of people didn't think the troubles will blow over. Some people, yes, some people had properties. They didn't want to give up those properties. Some people, maybe they couldn't afford to move away. Or people said, hamare purkh yahan pe have been interned here, been buried here, their memories are here. How can we leave them and go?
Was it like the non-Muslim elite that chose to come to India?
I haven't studied this, so I can't tell you whether it was the elite or not. But yes, the bulk of the land which was owned in Sindh was owned by the Hindus. So taking that as an example, yes, the elites would have left, and then that was taken over subsequently.
Because probably the elites were educated enough to be able to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, possible.
And
it's possible.
The people who couldn't afford it, maybe they didn't have the know-how or the education. Their successors are probably suffering today.
Yeah.
Will India take any of these people?
So the whole thing about CAA was precisely this, wasn't it? That people who are persecuted in the neighborhood,
Shed some light.
Yeah, the Hindus, the Christians, the Sikhs who are persecuted in the neighborhood can come and accelerated citizenship. It's not that they'll get citizenship on arrival. It'll be just an accelerated. It doesn't mean that other people who have come, their citizenship is going to be jeopardized. But that this will be accelerated.
Okay.
That was the whole idea. Now you see, if you're a Muslim majority country already, and then you want refuge, so it's different than being a minority in that particular country and wanting refuge. And that was the whole rationale behind CAA.
Okay. Where does CAA stand today in 2023?
I'm not sure. I think there was a lot of Shaheen Bagh and things like that. There was a lot of agitation. I'm not sure whether the rules have been notified or not. I'm not sure.
Okay, because again, the urban narrative of CAA was that it was an anti-Muslim movement, where the current government is against the modern-day Indian Muslim.
But that would have been so if the normal track of somebody applying for citizenship in India, a Muslim, had been closed. That's not been closed.
Okay.
That continues as it is. There is no... So, again, fake narrative. It's easy to scare people. Demography of Kashmir is being changed.
Yeah.
These are the kind of fake which are easy to sell. People are willing to believe the worst.
So these are playlists made especially for you. We've tailor-made learning experiences for you. DRS clips.